Hello everyone, a very good evening. I do hope that you all are doing fantastic and great. Good evening, Himanshi. Good evening, Senthil. Good evening, Priyanka, Kritika, everyone. Good evening, Jatin, Ritika, Prerna, Yogyata, Madhvi, Manav, Devansh, and everybody in the class. Okay, quickly. Good evening, Yuvraj, Krishna, Yashika. Okay, guys. So quickly, did you all go through what we discussed on Friday, our first session, the chapter also that we had begun with, the discussions on the exam paper and all that we did? Did you all go through the same? Good, Ivanshi. Very good, Senthil. Good evening, Somil. That's great, Priyanka. Okay, so any queries, any difficulties that you're having, please put it in the chat box. Anything that you could not understand, please put it in the chat box. I'm not audible, is it? Good evening, Ella. Good evening, Shubham. Good evening, Sankal. Guys, please revert to me. Am I audible or not? Can you hear me properly? Okay. Then, Ella, I guess you need to rejoin. Just a minute. Okay. So let's quickly now go on and complete the first chapter that we were doing. Then we'll go on to the second one. Yeah, don't worry. I will give a recap of whatever we have covered so far in the first chapter. Then we complete the first chapter and we go on to the second chapter. But it's a request from my side to everybody. Please make sure that you're attending your live sessions regularly. Okay? I'll just share the screen. Just give me a second. Okay. I hope my screen is clearly visible to everyone. In case anybody is having any issues, then please put it in the chat box. Any video laggings or any audio issues. Okay, let me just quickly take you to the first chapter, starting what we were doing. A quick summary we will have, okay? Okay, so first chapter that we are doing is accounting for management. Okay, now here when we had begun with this chapter, we understood what is the role of cost and management accounting. That cost accounting is a term which is basically a part of management accounting. The bigger picture was financial accounting, right? And then we understood the difference between cost accounting, management accounting. We understood their terms. Yeah, we understood their terms. We understood the main areas of the management accounting like cost, planning, okay, and then we understood the detailed process, that is the planning process and the execution process. Planning process is generally the long-term planning that is done by the top level of the management. There we understood the assessment stage, the objectives are evaluated, then the evaluation stage of considering the alternatives, then agreeing on the corporate plan. Okay, and so these detailed operational plans are then made, which are executed by the lower levels, and in between the short-term objectives like the budgets and all are prepared by the tactical level. Then we understood control, where we had the comparison between the actuals and the budgeted, and where the actuals are, better than the budgeted or they're worse off than the budgeted. We understood those situations. Okay, then we went on in understanding what is decision making. So in this, we understood that decision making comprises of several steps. Like first of all, we have to identify the goals of the organization, the long-term goals, long-term objectives. Then we would identify the alternatives, solutions, or opportunities, okay, in order to achieve those goals. And then we would analyze each alternative in detail, and then we will finalize the final decision to be made, selecting that final alternative, okay, and then the expected outcome from the alternative. Then the expected outcome is then overall matched with the actual results, and whatever are the variances we see. If actuals are better, then we say it's a favorable variance, and if the actuals are worse, then we say it's an unfavorable variance. Okay, now then we would do evaluation of the performance based on these variances calculated. Okay, the employee's performance is evaluated based on it. So generally it's their bonus increments which are attached with their the targets that are set, how far they have achieved those targets. Okay, then we understood the three levels of plan, three levels of management and their role in planning: the strategy level or the top level, the tactical level or the middle level, operational level or the lower level of the management. So the top level of the management is basically concerned with the external and the internal combination decision making. It's a forward-looking decisions that they make. Okay, most of the decisions are non-financial. I mean, the reason being they're not into the top level is not into the day-to-day monitoring of the activities. Okay, so they are not just looking into the financial decisions. They are looking into financial as well as non-financial. Tactical level, we understood their duty is like to prepare budgets and to make the short-term objectives in order to achieve the long-term objectives. Then we went to operational level, where the main purpose is to handle the day-to-day transactions, right? The detailed transactions. Okay, this is strategic planning, tactical level, and the operational level. Okay, then we understood the example by this, that what is a tactical plan, what is a middle level, lower level plan, and what is a top level plan. And then we understood the difference between management accounting and financial accounting. And then, no, I think we have not done this. Guys, we have to start from here. Just somebody confirm me. We have to start from here, right? Management accounting and financial accounting. Yes. Okay. Any doubts till this point, till the point that we are just revised? Any queries, any doubts? Yeah, I would do that. Thank you. Anybody who's having any doubts, only those students who have doubts, please put it in the chat box. Okay, Sankalp, did you attend the first class, dear? Have you gone through the recordings for the same? Please revert in the chat box. Have you attended the first session live, or have you gone through the recordings? Yes or no? Please revert. I believe no. So that's not a problem. I'll explain your cost accounting. Yeah, so then go through the recordings also once, okay? No worries, I'll explain you cost accounting. Cost accounting is accounting for the cost. There are different costs for the organization. Now we are going to study the cost structure also in the next class. Okay, we will be studying about that. So there are different costs, right? The direct material cost, direct labor cost, overheads cost. So basically, if I say that I have to manufacture a pen, the pen will be manufactured with some cost. When we account for that cost in our books, that's called as cost accounting. That is when I add the cost to the cost of sales, to the inventory cost, I say that we are doing cost accounting. Okay, so we do that discussion. Am I clear? Or a product cost? Fine. Jatin, again, my question to you, have you gone through the recordings of the first session? Were you there? Because I think you were not there for the first session. Is it? Okay, you were there. Okay, I just remember that you were not. Don't worry, I'll repeat it again. So decision making is, you know what? The decision making concept says that how are you going to take a decision, which objective to be set and which objectives not to be set. So first of all, I should know that what is the main objective of the organization. So first, the organization should have a clear cut objective. Objective is like that, for example, we want to achieve 10 lakh units of sales in the next 5 years. We want to achieve a net profit, or we want to achieve a market share of 20% in the next 5 years. Like this, we set our objectives. And then in order to achieve those objectives, we find out all the different alternatives. We look for the different alternatives. That is different ways to achieve those objectives. Suppose there are 5 ways to achieve. Like how would you increase the market share? You will introduce new products, you will increase the production of the units and so on. So you will look into every alternative and then the management will finalize that alternative with which it will go ahead. Okay, no worries much. Okay, so with which it will go ahead. So then once the alternative is finalized, then that alternative is applied to the organization and all the decisions are taken according to that alternative. Then finally, we create the expectations, we create budgets based on the alternative. The objective of the company is kept in mind and then the budget is prepared. Finally, we match the budget with the actuals and see whether the company is done well or has not done well in comparison with the budgets. Got it? Now is this clear, Satyan? The summary, is this clear to you now? Or still have queries? Please put them in the chat box and be quick. Okay, no worries, no need to thank. I'm here to explain. Okay, Manav has a query. Ma'am, top level takes decisions for long term and middle level takes for within a year and lower level takes decisions for daily basis. It is more or less correct, Manav, but it is not a thumb rule. The middle level can also take decisions for the next 2 years. The only point is that middle level is generally not expected to take decisions for the company. Like for example, for Reliance, Mukesh Ambani's board of director is generally expected to take decisions that how much growth they want to see for Reliance for the next 10, 20 years. Middle level is not expected to do that. Middle level is expected that okay, middle level should prepare those budgets, targets, and take actions, makes use of resources to ensure that in 10 years we are achieving the objective. So for achieving the objective in 10 years, it needs to make budgets every year, or maybe 2-year targets can also be set. Are you clear now, Manav? Okay, control process means control process means when we are comparing the actual performance of the company with the expected performance or the budgeted performance that was set. And then any differences, if we have, we'll investigate into it. We'll look into detail that why the variances have come, why the difference has come. And then the company will take actions to ensure that these differences are not there or they are minimized. And the next budget that we prepare, these differences are minimized or they're not there. And we are able to get the actual performances either meeting the budget or exceeding the budget. Are you clear now? So this is the control action. That is the variances that we calculate. We try to control the differences between the expected and the actuals. Once, are you clear? Please revert. Okay, anybody else with any of the queries? Otherwise, we'll begin with the topic. Okay, great. Anybody else with any queries? Okay, now I need you all to be always studying regularly, okay? It's good that those people who have raised queries, this shows that you have studied. This is very good. Okay, and all those who did not raise query, very less chances that you understood everything. I mean, when you revised, you don't have any queries. Okay, so I really want you all to study every day for the classes. You have 1 day break in between. Please use that 1 day break to study. Okay, just cover up at least only that portion that we're doing in the class. And when I give you homework, you have to complete homework as well. Okay, so today you will be receiving homework. Fine. And I really want to make sure that each one of you is attending the live sessions regularly, not just at the start of the class, I mean, right now in the early sessions, but continuing it till the end of the class. And you have to study regularly with your, your questions and whatever homework I give you, whatever we study in the class, you have to revise it every class wise. Don't keep it on, just don't delay it. It's my request. Fine. Yeah. Now let's go further and let's understand what is the difference between management accounting and financial accounting. So let's understand the basic difference. What's a financial accounting? Financial accounting is where we are dealing with financial numbers, the numerical numbers. That is like we do in the preparation of balance sheet, P&L account, cash flow statement, notes to account this, which are presented to the shareholders. So in the financial statement, generally we are just dealing with numbers, right? Do we enter any detail in the balance sheet where I say that the manager is a very honest person? Can I write that in the balance sheet anywhere? Can I write it in the asset that my people are very honest in the organization? No, very good. No. Why? Because I just enter the values in that balance sheet. I just enter whether we have the cash of 100,000 or we have the prepaid expenses or we have the current assets anyways, the current liabilities. So we're just dealing in numbers over there. We can't include any non-financial things in the balance sheet, financial statements. We can't include that because there is no place of that non-financial things in the balance sheet. If my sales have increased, yeah, very good, Yuvraj. If my sales have increased, I really would just write my sales level now, or maybe compare it with the other year and write the percentage. But then why the sales have increased so much or why the sales have decreased so much? We are not doing that interpretation that which department did not do well, which department did well. We are not doing in that financial accounting. But to run the business, management needs it, right? They need to go in the detail of all these differences, all these variances. So where will they approach? Their accounting is then management accounting. Management accounting means that these accounts or we are doing the in detail looking into or understanding of various areas just to help the management to take decisions of the future, to help the management to know, yeah, perfect, very good, Senthil. It explains the management about the managerial operations, about the operations of the company, how is it running, and about taking the future decisions. Clear? So let's understand the difference. First, financial accounts detail the performance of an organization over a definite period and about the states of affairs at the end of the period. That is like P&L and balance sheet. Management account, they help the management to record, plan, control the organization's activities and help in decision-making process. As we discussed, financial accounts. Now, is there any legal requirement to prepare management accounts? No. Is there a legal requirement to prepare financial accounts? Yes. As per the company's accounts, yes. We need to publish it to the shareholders. Third, the format of publishing or preparing the financial statements is fixed. It is given by the Companies Act. It is given by the International Financial this reporting standards. All right, IFRS. I'll come to it. It's a good definition, Anshu. I'll come to it. Okay. So just now the basic difference, the format of balance sheet, P&L, cash flow, you all know, right? Whenever you give answers in your exam, you have to write it in the format. Why? It is a fixed format which is given by IFRS and we have to follow it. Why IFRS? Because we're dealing with UK, right? So ACCA UK, now in that case, we have to follow the foreign rules, not the Indian standards. Okay, now fourth, third, if you say for management accounting, the format is nowhere fixed, nowhere established. It is just, it can be in the form of a report. It can be in the form of any paragraph format, any written format, any diagrammatic format, anything. It is just that management should be able to understand what is prepared here and it should help management to take decision making. That's all. It should be a help tool for the management. Okay, but that's not the case with financial account. You have to prepare it in the format, whether you know it. So if you don't know it, you can outsource it, take a help of somebody else, but you need to prepare it. Okay, next, financial accounts, they concentrate on the business as a whole. This is a very important area. We cover in financial accounting all the area, all the operations of the business, but it is not needed for management accounting. See, what if all the areas are doing well and only there is a difference in that some of the expenses? Okay, and some of the expenses are some dubious areas where the management wants to investigate in detail. So then management reports will only be prepared for those 4 areas. No need to prepare report on all the areas of the business. Okay. So that's very good. Then management accounts can be prepared selectively for selective accounts. Okay, most financial accounting information is of monetary nature, and here management accounting, it includes most of the non-monetary items as well as non-monetary, but here most share is non-monetary, like what is the hours of machines lost, what is the number of accidents, okay, what is the percentage of the employees who have left the organization, who have joined new, so like this, what is the kilometers traveled by the people, and accordingly how much is the reimbursement for traveling expenses. So like this we use both non-financial and financial data, but in management accounting we use more of non-financial data because financial is already there in financial accounting, so we don't repeat it. Okay, now financial accounts, they present an essentially historic picture of past operations, and management accounting generally uses past operations, but it creates expectations. Balance sheet, when we submit, we never prepare, right? Balance sheet of the current year and tentative balance sheet of the last next year. We don't prepare it. We don't give forecast. But in management accounting, we can. Because here we are trying to take decisions for the management to help management in decision making. Decisions about what? Actions in the future. So management accounting, we can use the historic information as well as we can prepare reports for the future. Okay. Now, so Himanshi has given me one explanation. Says management accounting can be defined as that it is an interpretation of every movement made by the company. So here I would correct not every movement, but the movement that the management wants to see in detail. Okay, the changes. And Yuvraj says qualitative figures also taken in the accounts of management accounting, but not financial accounting. Absolutely correct, right? I hope everybody are you clear with this? Any doubts? Any queries? I'll repeat the 5th point again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th. Yeah. Most financial accounting information is of monetary nature. I'll give you one example. Look here. If I talk about financial accounting and if I talk about management accounting, I will give details like what is the current assets position, what is the current liabilities. It doesn't include management information, no. It just give an explanation of the what is there in the balance sheet, what is there in the P&L. We just explain that in the notes to accounts. Apart from that, see, because I'll tell you the reason. Okay, Senthil, just give me 2 minutes. Soumya, just look here. Now, financial accounting, what we present, like we have current assets of 5,000. We have current liabilities of 2,000. Like this, I will present the data in numbers, right? In balance sheet, P&L, cash flow. We prepare like this. Are you clear till this point? The accounting that we do in the books. Okay, great. Now, when I come to management accounting, I'm really not into what is my current assets, what is my current liabilities position, because that data is already there. Why do we need to repeat? Management accounting would look in detail. Okay, that suppose the traveling expenses are in the financial accounting, we have mentioned traveling expenses is 1,000. So then management accounting will look into detail and see what was the kilometers traveled by the salesman. Suppose it is 500 kilometers. Now, do you think this data is into dollar form? Because the dollar form data is what we call as monetary data. Is it converted into money? Please tell me. No. So this kind of data we present in management accounting more because we try to interpret why this expense has come so much. Are you clear now? Soumya, please revert. Great. Okay, now Senthil has asked me one question, that why can't we say that financial accounting also includes management accounting? Because financial accounting plays with numbers and all, and whatever details we give in the notes to accounts is all about the explanation of the figures that were given in the balance sheet. Why we don't give management accounting information in financial accounting? Because for a listed company, for example, financial accounting reports like balance sheets and all are always shared with the stakeholders of the company, like the shareholders, debtors, creditors. Everybody will have access to it. So why to give an internal information of the company, that whatever that travels kilometer by the salesman? These are internal information of the company. So that is why we don't give it in the financial accounting. Are you clear, Senthil? Great. Okay. Let's do one question. Correct. So Ritika has summarized one thing correctly. Then management accounting is generally for internal users or the management. Financial accounting is both for internal as well as external. We cannot say no, Ritika, it is only for external. Even management would be interested in knowing their profit and loss, sales, and all. Got it? Yeah. So management accounting is more of a theoretical concept. Yes, it is more of a deep analysis concept. Okay, everyone, type in your answer. There's a fourth option also. No, there are only three options. So either your answer is 1 and 2, 2 and 3, 1 and 3, or 2 only. Out of these four, which is the correct answer? A, B, C, D. 1 and 2, 1 and 3, 2 and 3, and 2 only. Please tell me which is the correct answer. Quickly, A, B, C, D. Which combination is correct? Quickly, everyone, type it, type it. 30 seconds more, come on. Give in your answer, whatever is correct. Second only, 2 and 3, 1 and 3. And 1 and 2. These are the four options. Quick, 30 seconds only, I'll give you, not more than that. Okay, everybody done? Can we discuss the answers? So we have variety of answers coming up. Okay, so let's discuss. Everybody, now no more answers. Let's discuss. Which of the following statements about management accounts are true? First, there is a legal requirement to prepare. You all are absolutely clear there is no legal requirement. So first is wrong. Second, the format of financial accounts is largely determined by law. True. Financial account formats is determined by law. Third, management accounts, they serve as a future planning tool and are not used as a historical record. This is wrong. They are used as a historical record also. See here, management accounts are both historical record as well as future planning tool. They are not just a forecasting, but we also keep a record, no, where was the differences that came, what was the labor hour that was done. So we keep as a historical record also, and we use it for future planning also. So therefore, only second statement is correct. Let's see who all got it correct. Shubham got it correct. Very good. Yashika got it correct. Jatin got it correct. Manav got it correct. Priyanka got it correct. Prerna, Abhimanyu, Gunjan, Priyanka, Ella, Swati, Mehnur, Himanshi, Ayush. Very good, guys. You all got it correct. Superb. And the others who got mistakes, that's okay. You're just learning here to do mistakes and then correct them in exam. Yeah, but they're asking. Who said that they're only asking for it's okay. If they've written a point, then we have to answer for that also, no, Soumya? If the question is mentioned, you have to select what is correct, what is wrong. Yeah, this question could have been formulated in a different way. Like which of the following statements are correct? This would have been a better question. Got it? Okay, now just quickly 2 points I'll just discuss and then we move on to the next one. Okay. Financial accounts, they record and report historical data. They are prepared for individuals external to an organization like shareholders, customers, suppliers, tax authorities, and employees. So they are for external as well as internal users. Management accounts are generally prepared for internal managers of an organization. They are used to help make decisions on where the company wants to go and how to realize those objectives, right? So they actually keep a historic record, but they are more focused for future decision making. So they are more forward looking. Very good. In the answer, you should round your answers to two decimal places unless in the question you're told otherwise. Remember it. Whenever in your MA exam you have to write answer in decimals, generally the question mentions how much decimal places you have to write. If it is not written, then assumed is that two places decimal you will use. Okay? Okay, just give me 2 minutes. I will be there and then we begin data and information. Okay, just allow me 2 minutes. Okay, guys, thank you. Fine. Who have rights to access the management accounting? Management accounting means the managers are preparing reports as per the requirement of the management. Okay, just allow me 1 minute. If I have, I will show you a copy of management report. Okay, just give me 1 minute. I'll just search for it. I used to prepare management reports, for my role as a finance head in Cromchumri. So let me just see if I find it. I will show it to you. Apologies, I'm not able to find it right now. So as I will find it, I'll show you a copy of management report. Even on, I'll get a sample. I'll get show you a sample report. That's just a reporting that we are doing for internal purposes that is submitted to the management. Okay, so reports are prepared by the managers at tactical levels, and then it is submitted to the top level of the management. Clear? This is basically to give me an insight about what is happening in the organization. So that's more for internal reporting. Are you clear now? Ayush? Okay, let's go further and let's just discuss the data and information topic. Guys, what is data? I'll just show you here an example and then we understand. I'll just write 6 numbers on the Excel. Can you tell me what is it? What do I mean by these 6 numbers that I posted? I just entered these 6 numbers on my Excel. Can you please type it and guess what is it? What kind of input is it? So yes, you all are correct. You are pointing it out correctly. You have Raj, Priyanka, Soumya, and others silently sitting people. I want everybody to have inputs, okay? Everybody to give me some participation in the class. There is nobody who's going to sit idle, okay? Yes, perfect. You all are telling me correctly that it looks like it is just any numeric number, ma'am, that you have put in. This look like something which is in raw form. I mean, we really cannot represent what is it. Now, if I just write one number and I say roll number of students in MA class. Now, does it make sense? Does it make sense? So what I did, I just processed it. Now, instead of doing you writing this data in a scattered way or in a wrong way, we just processed it. I can process it further by writing the name of the students. A, B, C, D, E, F. It is even more clear. So the numbers or the data is which is raw, which is not giving you any meaningful information, which is not giving you any meaning. It is just entered by the by the salesperson. Suppose salesperson has just entered the sales invoices and made the list. It is not of any use unless I create sales entries with it and I create a sales ledger which is going in the balance sheet and the P&L. Then it makes sense to give me answer. Am I not audible? I'm sorry to interrupt. Shivangi saying she cannot hear me. Is it so? No, Shivangi, please see. Are you able to hear me now? Ritika, you cannot hear me? Okay. You're not audible to me. Just a minute. Yeah, so I think everybody to whom I'm not audible, please rejoin. Okay, please rejoin to everyone to whom I'm not audible. Please rejoin. Okay, so now I think it is all scattered data in this. So it's in raw form. Okay, now it is in raw form. Now it is not making any sense. But the moment I processed it and I presented it in the form of a roll number, now you all could see that okay, yes, now it is making sense. So data is what is presented in a raw form. Like I was saying an example, suppose an accountant has recorded all the invoices in the books, but he has not done entries with it. Then what is the use of recording those invoices? What is the use of entering those sales numbers? That is of no use. He has to make entries, process it, present, and then that will be a part of the ledger that will go in the P&L account. Then it would make sense. Okay, these are the total sales for the clear. Everyone, are you clear with for the the understanding of data and information? Any doubts? Shivangi, can you hear me now, dear? Okay, great. Okay, any doubts anybody has, please tell me in the chat box quickly. I'm taking one definition. So data is the raw material for data processing. It is the starting point, right? We need to process the data. We need raw data. So raw data is the starting point. Yes. Yes, Ayush has asked me a question and all of you will revert. Supplier list that we have is a data or information? Supplier list. The list of suppliers. Okay, my question is you have got the list of suppliers and the list of customers. Is it data or information? It is information. Why would it be data? Data is when I've just written the names and not made them in the list of suppliers. The moment I've created the list, it is an information. Now, any entry that I would do would hit their name. Got it? So information is the processed form because now it is bringing me meanings, right? If I just write Mr. Amit Kumar, that's a data. But the moment I know that Mr. Amit Kumar is a creditor of the company, it becomes an information. Okay, let's have one more information. Okay, just allow me 1 minute. I would be making it even more clearer. Okay. I'm playing the video and I want everybody to look here. Okay, I would be sharing the screen. Okay, I'm playing another just a small video to make this understanding even more clearer, and then I would explain it again. Okay. I'm playing the video, and in case anybody is not able to hear the sound, then please put it in the chat box. Guys, is it not audible? Just a moment. I'll just check.
Today we will talk about the difference.
Wait, the sound will come now. Come now.
Today we will talk about the difference between data and information. Data and information are similar concepts, but they are not the same thing. The main difference between data and information is that data is a part, and information is the whole. Let's explore how data and information differ through definitions and examples. Data is a collection of facts. These facts can be numbers, words, observations, or even just descriptions of things. Information is how you understand those facts in context. Data doesn't carry a meaning. Information must carry a logical meaning. Data is unorganized. For example, we have rich, which is a name of a person, red as a color, 2022 as a year, and a blue car as an object. These words are not meaningful in nature unless organized. Therefore, information is structured or organized. We have to structure or organize the data to get a meaningful information. Now we will structure as, Rich bought a blue car. We see that it conveys a complete thought. Data is not typically useful on its own. Information is useful on its own. And finally, information depends on data.
I hope this small video made you clear about it. So now if I talk about supplier list, if I just have the list of names, it is not going to be helpful. But that is raw data. But then if I have list of names with their outstanding balances, then it gives me correct information that yes, these are the supplier balances at the end of the period, which is going to be a part of my balance sheet. Now, does it give you clarity, guys? Everybody? I don't want any single student in the class to have any query or any doubt in any of the topics that you are doing. Okay. So all of you have to tell me in case if you have doubts. Yes, there is no meaning of data unless it is processed into the form, right? So there is no meaning of data. Okay, great. I want that crystal clarity. Thank you for telling me that. Okay, so let's do one question. But before that, let me just take you to the definition again and then we do the question. Information is data that has been processed in some way to make it meaningful to the person who receives it. Information is anything that is communicated. No, why data would be depending upon information, Soumya? Can you tell me? Soumya is saying that data is also depending upon information. Why? Data is the starting form, right? Only when I know the supplier details and their balances, only then I can make the information. When I combine the two and I say that, okay, this is the supplier's outstanding balance on the balance sheet date, then only it would make sense, right? Only when you process data, it becomes information. Yeah, so because it doesn't make sense, therefore we have raw data. Are you clear now? So data is the starting point. When you process the data, then it becomes information. You don't process information to get data. I hope I'm clear. Great. Okay, now information is that data that has been processed in some way to make it meaningful to the person who receives it. Information is anything that is communicated. Information is sometimes referred to as processed data. The term information and data are often used interchangeably, but you know now the difference between data and information, that there is a difference. Correct. Very good, Yuvraj. Okay, now researchers who conduct market research surveys might ask members of the public to complete questionnaires about a product or a service. These completed questionnaires are data. We have just completed the questionnaire, got the opinion, that's data. Right now, the questionnaires will be processed and analyzed and then prepared in the form of a report that what kind of product should be launched in the market. That becomes information. Okay, so this resulting report is information and may be used by the management for decision making. In very simple and short way, I can say that information is that processed data which can be used by the management for decision making. Raw data can never be used by the management for decision making. It doesn't make sense. If I just give questionnaires report to the management, doesn't make sense. I have 100 students and those 100 students marks, if I give to someone else, doesn't make sense. But if I put it in the form of a report and say, okay, that 50% of the students got more than 80%, rest 30% of the students got more than 70%, and 20% of the students got 50%, then it makes sense, right? Otherwise, the discrete data doesn't make sense. I hope now it's absolutely crystal clear. Let's have a quick understanding. Now, what external information made the managers of a business need? Okay, so what information do you think they would be needing about the competitors? Quickly type it in the chat box. One line only, not more than that. Not more than one line. We'll discuss. I am just asking for competitors. I just want answers for competitors, okay? Not no other answers. Okay, so let's have Himanshi has given me the price comparisons. Very good. Price comparisons. Very good. It's a valid point. Vansh price. Their next move. So the new launches that they're going to have. Very good. Suppliers, quality of the product. Perfect. How's the quality accepted by the customers? Very good. Product cost we would not be able to get generally, Abhimanyu. It's a very classified information that's not made public. So if we can, generally we can have the access to the quality, but detailed product cost may not be able to get. Yes, new launches, perfect. Their strategies, what kind of strategies? It is about the upcoming launches. Competitors, product USP, perfect. Names and prices, analyzing their market trends. Very good. Quality comparisons, share prices. It's none of this. The technology of the competitor. Very well answers, guys. The area, the customers that it is catering to, brand comparisons, right? So after selling services, very good. So we can have for competitors, we will look into the prices that they're quoting, then the upcoming market strategies, any new product launches, their product specifications, and the markets, the customers that they're catering to, what is their market share is what we will have really. Yes, correct, Yuvraj. Market share of the competitors is what is going to affect the companies. Perfect. Let's go to the second one, customers. Type in only one points each for customers. Quick. No answers from you so far, Chahat. I want answers. Devansh, no answers. Ella, Gunjan, you're not here to sit and look at the answers and discuss, right? Please put in your answers. Inesh, write your answers. Ishmeet, give your inputs. Krishna, Manav, Mehnur, Ojaswa, Piyush, Prachi, Praveen, Prerna, right? Sakshi, Sankalp, Shubham. Guys, revert some. Give your input. Saurav, Swati, Vidisha, Yashika, both Yashikas, Yogyata. Okay, all of you give your inputs. Who is logged in with the name of Vivo? I want you to rename yourself. Otherwise, we'll have to remove you from the group. Please rename. Okay, so for customers, I think the great answers that you have given, let me discuss. Customers' loyalty, needs and wants, preferences. So, Vansh, is this copy pasting of the answers? I hope not. Right? Please don't copy paste anybody. I don't want anyone to copy paste the answers. Type in what you feel like, okay? What you know. No need to match with the correct answers. I don't want that. Preferences and trends of the customers. So I prefer the preferences point is perfect, Yashika. The quality of the product, no. The feedback, the customer's feedback, very good. The needs of the customer, the preferences about the product, customer states and preferences. Yes, needs and wants, satisfaction, product pricing, very good. Oh, just a valid point. What price the customers are ready to pay? Very good, Mehnur. Senthil, Yuvraj, perfect. The customer's preferences. Okay, not a problem. Gunjan, it may happen that the answers is not, sent to me. That's okay. Okay. Yes, income group to fix better prices. Yes, so product differentiations we can do very well answered, Priyanka. The needs, it's common, which kind of customers are we targeting? Yeah, so we can have differential customers pricing. Very good. Financial performance is not what we need from customers. No. Feedback, preferences, expectations, alternative wants. Okay, Vansh, good that you've not. Okay, the reviews or the feedback, the affordable pricing, satisfaction, after sales services, are they satisfied or not? Price list, very good. The customers want or not, right? So elasticity of demand in the market, that's customers' preferences, how well they're accepting the product. So very well done. The needs of the wants of the customer, the price that they're ready to pay, okay, the differential pricing to the customers, their feedback, what do they want, what customer groups we will be targeting. Yeah, so exactly, Yuvra. So we'll have the feedbacks that would give us the understanding how customers are liking our products. Very good. Suppliers, quickly, what information we would be needing about suppliers? Perfect. Quality of the goods of the suppliers, prices by the supplier. Very good point, Gunjan. The payback period or the credit, credit offered by the supplier. So apart from pricing, quality, credit, any other point, please type it. Suppliers bargaining power? No, it's customers bargaining power that we look into. The delivery time of the suppliers, very good. Their financial position, perfect. The new products that they're launching is not going to affect much unless it is meeting our requirements. Okay, so yes, liquidity position is of the supplier, is not material. It is our liquidity position because we have to pay to the supplier. Yes, so product range and pricing, yes. Product discounts, very good. Mode of payment, no, mode of payment is not important. Goodwill of the supplier, yes, perfect. So we can say about the financial position of the supplier, the discount offered, quality of the products, the pricing of the supplier, goodwill of the supplier, the variants of the supplier, and delivery time. Perfect, very good. For the government, please tell me. Perfect, the policies of the supplier, the government, the taxation policies, the market policies, social welfare, very good, rules and regulations. Yeah, please give me answers now other than tax policies and the legal policies or the policies. The most important point that we have to see for that government is, for every factories, for every manufacturing, we have the minimum wages. Very good. Subsidies is a valid point. We have the minimum wages applicable. So we have to see whether the minimum, what is the minimum wages limit that we have to, count. We have to meet with the government requirements. Yeah, so government duties, government taxes, government subsidies, along with that minimum wages, any other rules, regulations of the government, we have to see any amendments. Very well done point. Okay, so perfect. Very good. No stop. You all have given me fantastic point. I mean, the level that you're giving me answers is absolutely stunning, all of you. Very good. That's the way that I want answering to be done in all our sessions. That's all legislations that we'll have. Okay, Somil? Okay, now let's have what is a good information now? Ideally, what are the requirements for a good information? A good information should be reliable, should be relevant, should be complete, and should be accurate. It should be relevant, that is, what we require is what is there. It should be complete because incomplete information is of no use. It should be accurate, okay, perfect to meet our needs, and it should be very clear. Information should be very clear. It should inspire confidence and be appropriately communicated. Okay, it should be appropriately communicated and should inspire confidence to the person to whom information is there that this information is correct. Confidence regarding the correctness of the information. It should be a manageable volume. I mean, information should be as concise as possible to deliver the meaning. If I write long stories, it may just not be meeting the purpose. Information should be given timely, that is when it is needed. Okay, and its cost should be less than the benefit it provides. This is essential for an information. A good information, we should always do CBA, cost benefit analysis. Cost benefit analysis means cost should always be less than the benefits which are provided. Okay, because if cost is more, then what is the use of using that information? No. If cost of getting the information is more than the benefit that the information is going to give to the entity, what is the use of getting that information? If it is too expensive and if it is not bringing any benefits to the entity. Now, suppose there is a sales report, it can be generated. Now, there's the manager who says, why to generate it here? We'll get it generated from somebody else, and he's going to charge 10,000 for the same. But because of that report, we may just be able to increase our sales by that reporting. The targets may be just increasing by 5,000. Right? So benefit is only for the company to increase the targets by 5,000, although the cost of that report is 10,000. So then it is not useful for the entity because cost is more than the benefit it is going to derive. Clear? Let's look at one illustration. A bank statement provides a company with information. So what are the qualities of the bank statement which makes it a good source of information? See the 4 factors: relevant, accurate, complete, clear. First, let's see, and the other factors also, like cost benefit only, like it should be timely, it should be of the perfect volume, okay, and it should be communicated properly, like that. So first, we are taking the quality accurate. Inaccurate figures would mislead the company as to its current bank balance. So this may result in the company exceeding its overdraft facility, whatever is overdraft given. So like this, we can look at the other qualities of the bank statement. Okay, this you can go through, it should read. We are just dealing with these qualities. Okay, but remember these qualities of good information. In MCQ, if it is asked, you should be able to answer. Okay, so illustration 2, the balance I want you to go through, If you have doubts, we'll discuss in the next class. Okay, guys, let's do one activity. Activity 3. Can you please put it in the chat box, the answer? Think and tell me. Which 2 of the following are good information? So I need both the answers correct. Tell me which 2, A, B, C, D. Which combination you are saying? Please type it in the chat box. I give 2 minutes to everyone. Everybody type it. Everyone, I want your answers to be typed in. 1 minute more, be quick. I'll give you 30 seconds more. Quickly type it. Okay, let's discuss the correct answer. People, the correct answer is option 2 and 3. That is B and C. Let's see who got it correct. All of you got it correct. Madhvi, wrong. Sankalp, wrong. Vidisha, wrong. Okay. Why it is wrong? Why no A and D are the correct options? Let's discuss it. So which two of the following are good information? Number 1, monthly sales figures for August received in November. What is the use of it? It has to be timely, right? Devansh, what is the use of receiving the sales figure in November? When the sales figure are of August, we should receive it in August or maybe September, but not beyond that. If I'm receiving it after 3 months, what decision I will make then? There is no need of information in November then, right? So it is wrong. It is not, the information is not timely. You gave the exam now, and I tell you whether you passed or failed after 6 months. What is it going to give you use? You have wasted your 6 months, right? So that's what. Why D is not the correct answer? A monthly report showing that the chocolate mixing machine was adding 1% too much cocoa in the last period. Okay, can you tell me why it is not the correct answer? Is it a complete value? Is it a complete report? What is the result that it is not? If it is adding 1% too much cocoa in the last period, then we have to see that what was the last period cocoa levels and how much impact it has made on the cost or revenue of the company. Also, 1% is very negligible. So if we are only going to, it is only going to be useful to me if I know that what is the impact of this 1%. So then only it will be good information, because good information has to be complete also. Okay, am I clear? And plus, it may not just meet the CBA criteria also. If 1% value is coming too negligible, then cost benefit analysis it may not be meeting. Are you clear? Any doubts? Please put up in the chat box. Now, the last point, limitations of information for decision making. See, decision making is concerned with the future, so there is always an element of uncertainty, because you cannot ever forecast future with full guarantee, full 100%, right? So there is always an uncertainty. There is always a chance that whatever forecast we have created may not be the actual results. So there can be differences, right? So this uncertainty is always there, but the right, this uncertainty is always there within the organization. So whatever information we are using, this uncertainty is a part of it. So we have to make sure that we are able to maybe do some risk assessments and mitigate the risk or reduce the risk. Okay, so if we know that the information that we are assuming is not taking care of any risk, it is a very simple information that we should not use for decision making. Decision making information, whatever we are using, we should always have a counter for risk. That we will do in the later chapters. How do we counter for risk in the information? Okay. Remember, risk can always be reduced, but can never become zero. There is always some amount of risk, always, that remains within the organization. Okay, any doubts? Activity 4 is homework. You're going to do it in homework. Okay. Okay, any doubts, any questions that you have? Yeah, Priyanka will explain again. It basically means that suppose Priyanka, if I'm saying that, suppose you gave mock test and you got 85% in it. Now I say that, okay, Priyanka, in final exam, you're going to get 85%, don't worry. Can I say that with certainty? Is it always certain that you're going to get 85%? Okay, but now I can mitigate the risk. I can adjust the risk. Like I will give you constant mock papers, for example. So this way I will make sure that there are chances higher for you to get 85%. But then also I cannot say it with certainty. The reason being, what will happen the exam day, even I don't know. Even you don't know. Are you clear? This is what we have, the limitation of information in decision making. The information on the basis of which we do decision making will always have some portions of errors, some uncertainties involved. So there are always chances that expected decisions may not be actually meeting with the actuals. Okay, great. Okay, anybody with any queries, please put up in the chat box. Anyone in the class with any queries in this chapter, please put it in the chat box. We're done with the first chapter. Now we'll start with the second one. Okay, on a quick note, let me give you homework. Please mark down your homework. In fact, I will make a list here. of questions that I'm giving you homework. I hope that everybody has got their books. Please get the books early. Okay, so the homework would be from 1.1. Till 1.10, only 10 questions. Okay, it won't take you more than 30 minutes to do it. Fine, and we will discuss it on the next day, that is 11th October. Yeah, I hope it is clear for everyone. And I want everybody 100% in the class to complete the homework. Okay, next, let's do the second chapter. Second chapter is again relating to information, and that's more about statistics. Okay, so it's more about your presenting the data in a statistics way. Okay, let's go on to the chapter. So we'll have more of, the pie diagrams, histograms, and all. So we'll be discussing those. Okay, now let's understand the different types of data. Okay, you're not going to submit that. Whenever there's a need for submission, I will tell you, you're going to keep your answers. And if you have any doubts, you'll ask it in the next class. In the next class, I'll discuss questions and answers both of the homework that I give. Okay. A moment, I'm stopping the share because I'm going to be presenting a video for you all. Just a moment. Okay, I'm just sharing the screen and then we're discussing the videos. Okay, I want your attention, everybody here. So some 3-4 videos I'm going to play. Okay, just look there carefully. We are going to be doing different kinds of data. What is a primary data? What is a secondary data? What is a nominal data? What is an ordinal data? Categorical data, discrete data, continuous data, sample data, population data. Looks clumsy, looks technical. It is not. They are very easy. We are going to be looking at videos, getting the examples, and then we'll discuss it here. Okay, so everyone just focus. The first video that I'm playing is on primary and secondary data.
The content of your research project will be made up of primary and secondary sources. Primary and secondary sources come in many different formats, and there are benefits for referencing both types in your assignment. It can be difficult to figure out if a source is considered primary or secondary, but don't worry, because we'll explain the differences here so that you can decide which are best to use in your assignment. Primary sources are first-hand accounts of an event, topic, or historical time period. Anything that contains original information on a topic is considered a primary source. Examples of primary sources include things like letters or personal diaries or journals, original photographs, speeches, newspaper reports, creative works like paintings, plays, and music, and research data or surveys. It's a good idea to use primary sources in research papers because it allows you to form your own argument to defend your thesis, since the information you're using is unfiltered by another person's point of view. You're able to critique an original work using your own ideas. Secondary sources interpret, critique, or analyze primary sources. It is information that is created or published from primary sources. Examples of secondary sources include things like textbooks, essays or reviews, encyclopedias, newspaper articles that analyze or discuss events and ideas, and criticisms and commentaries. It's a good idea to use secondary sources in research papers because you can learn about new perspectives that you may not have even considered, and they can also strengthen your own argument in the assignment. For example, if you're writing a history paper about how the diversity of a city shifted during a certain time period, you could use data from the US Census Bureau to compare populations across the decades. This type of information would be considered a primary source, as it's data that's simply been collected and compiled. There is no analysis. That's what you'll be doing in the paper. For the same topic, you could also use an article from a newspaper that reviews the data and draws conclusions or analysis from it, such as other ways in which the population might change or grow over time. Some sources, like scholarly journals and newspapers, can serve as both a primary and a secondary source, depending on which article you're reading. Articles that include things like eyewitness accounts or interviews and are published close to the time of the event you're researching would be a primary source. Articles that are published after the fact and include analysis or critiques are secondary sources. Primary and secondary sources can both strengthen and improve your research immensely by providing you with information to create an argument and defend your thesis statement.
Let's quickly understand again what is a primary source and a secondary source. Primary source is generally that first-hand information that you are getting, which has been not analyzed earlier. Let's suppose you're using just a wholesale price index, which is generated by the government, which is published by the government. Okay, and you are now that wholesale price index can be taken differently for different purposes. A retailer can also use it. A manufacturer can also use it. Now you are using it for your own company purposes, then that becomes a primary data for you. But suppose I want to run a report on how to, how to use the study hub in ACCA, for example. Okay. Now, if I am just using the study hub parts, and I'm explaining you in my own words, now that becomes a primary source for me, the primary data. But the moment there is somebody who's already published the report and I'm using that report to tell you all, then that's a secondary data. because it has already been collected somewhere else and it has already been analyzed upon. Okay. So now it is already used for some other purposes, but you are still using it or adapting it for your own purposes. That becomes a secondary data. Are you clear? So now data, we are first understanding the basic, that is primary data and secondary data. The primary data, are you clear till this point? Please tell me quickly. What is the primary data and what is the secondary data? Right? Simple. The data which is analyzed by you for your own purposes, that is a primary data that has not been analyzed earlier. And the secondary data is, primary data is like when you go into shops, when you go in the market and you have people who say, ma'am, please fill the questionnaire, please tell us the review for a product. That is a primary data. They are collecting the data for the purpose of getting a feedback about their products. So primary is basically, yes, almost. Okay. So primary data is the data which you are using it for a particular purpose, and that you are doing it for yourself. You're not taking any others reports and working on it. Okay. So, and secondary data is the data which has already been collected somewhere else and for some other purposes, but you can still be used or adapted for the survey which is being conducted. So questionnaires that we have is generally a primary data, but however, I just like to make one addition. If we are using the data which has been published somewhere else, okay, like the growth indexes and all, now that becomes a secondary data. Okay. Okay, now let's go to the other one, and I'm now going to make you understand what is a discrete data and what is a continuous data. Numerical data means the data which is expressed in numbers. Like I say, 50 rupees, 100 rupees, $100, and we can say the 5 meters, 500 kgs, like this, where I'm expressing the data in numbers, it becomes a numerical data. Now, numerical data is divided into two types, and I will prepare a flow chart. Don't worry, it is here also. First, let me make you understand these topics, and then I will prepare a flow chart for you as well. Okay. So then we have this numerical data is of two types: discrete data or continuous data. Discrete data is which is fixed, which will not change, and continuous data is which can increase or decrease also. Like for example, date of birth, it is fixed, right? After 10 years also my date of birth is same. After 20 years also my date of birth is same. It will not change. But if I discuss height or weight, height also after some time it becomes discrete. I mean, it doesn't increase or decrease after some years. But till the time it is not fixed, it is continuous. It is moving up and down. Weight of a person moves up and down. So it is continuous. Continuous means that data which can take any value, which can change, Continuous data is a data which can change. Discrete data is a data which is fixed and will not change. Am I clear? Like the numbers that you get in exam. In your final exam, once you get a score, that's a discrete data. That will not change. But when you're doing questions in the class, you can have increase or decrease in your numbers. Fine, let's look at one video.
Welcome to Moving Math and Science. Hello, welcome to points. It also is height. Hello, welcome to Moving Math, where discrete data is data that has distinguishable spaces between the values. Often it is data that is counted. On a graph, the ordered pairs are at specific locations, so the graph is not connected, but only points. Some examples of discrete data would be the number of dogs, number of people, the number of tickets that you have for a show. Continuous data is data that falls on a continuum. On a graph, it includes all the points and the points in between. It also is data that can be measured as finely as possible. It is often a physical measure and will include fractions and decimals. Some examples of continuous data would be time, age, height, and weight. Let's look at two examples and see the difference between these two types of data. Let's talk about your family. With your family, the family members would be discrete because you have 5 family members. The continuous data is that they range in height between 5 feet and 6 feet. Next, let's talk about books. Books on your bookshelf. The discrete data would be you have exactly 6 books. The continuous data would be the books range from 15 to 30 centimeters in length. Next, let's look at discrete or continuous. The number of cows on a farm. Yes, that would be discrete. The age of the cows on the farm. That would be continuous. The number of points scored in a game. Discrete. The amount of oxygen found in the atmosphere. That would be continuous. The temperature outside. That would be continuous. The number of text messages you sent today. That would be discrete. Thanks for watching.
Okay. Does it give you clarity now? Discrete and continuous data. Data which is moving, which has a capability of going up and down, is a continuous data. It's very simple language. And the data which is fixed, will not move, will not change, is a discrete data. Is this clear? Anyone have any doubts? Quickly put up in the chat box, guys. Quick. Any doubts? In primary data, secondary data, discrete data, and continuous data. Yes, a data can be discrete now, can become continuous later. I mean, generally, discrete data is fixed, which is generally very less chances of moving. Okay, can you give me any question, Senthil, where you have found a discrete data becoming a continuous data? Discrete data is which can be counted like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like days in a week are a discrete data. Days in week will always be 7. Months in the year will always be 12. Right? But if I say that how many hours you studied today, tomorrow, and day after, it will be varying. So that's a continuous data. Okay? Yeah. Now, let's go further. And when we discuss furthermore, we find that, like I said, the data is divided into 2 categories, primary and secondary. Then further, it is divided into whether it's a numerical data or a categorical data. Numerical data is the data which can be expressed in numbers. So then it divided into again 2 categories, discrete and continuous. Okay. So then the next category, the main category that we go is a data can also be a categorical data. Categorical means a descriptive data. Like, the theory data that we say, it's a descriptive data. Like I'm giving the data with what is the age of a person, the educational level. Age can be a discrete as well as categorical data, right? So the educational level of a person, the eye color, the dress color, where we are using the other than numbers, the terms that we are using is a descriptive data. Okay, let me show you that video for the same. So the descriptive data is again divided into 2 categories, nominal data and ordinal data. Okay, so let's understand this by way of a video again. Like I said, age is a continuous data. Yeah, sorry, it is not a discrete data, it's a continuous data. My bad.
In today's video, we will be discussing types of data: nominal, ordinal, interval ratio.
Video has 3 types of data, but we will be just focusing on nominal and ordinal data. Okay.
Data is central to statistical analysis. When we wish to find out more about a phenomenon, several record an observation will be a person, period, and times. When we store this data, record preference calls record the measurements we are interested in. For each observation, we record a score or value for each of the variables. When we store this data in a spreadsheet or a database, Each row corresponds to a single observation and each column is a variable. Level of measurement. The level of measurement used for a variable determines which summary statistics, graphs and analysis basic level of measurement.
Okay, just listen.
The nominal level is the most basic level of measurement. Nominal is also known as categorical or qualitative. Examples of nominal variables are sex, preferred type of chocolate, and colour. These are descriptions or labels with no sense of order. Nominal values can be stored as a word or text or given a numerical code. However, the numbers do not imply order. To summarise nominal data, we use a frequency or percentage. You cannot calculate a mean or average value for nominal data. The next level of
Okay, so what is a nominal data? Nominal data is a data which is generally presented in the form of descriptive formats, but then we can give numbers also to it. Like in question papers also we have, no, like we give 1, 2, 3, 4, the correct options. Okay, you can give any numbering to it. You can give any numbers to any particular groups of people that we are doing. So the point is that here we're not following, it's not necessary that we have to follow a sequence. I can give codings. I can give 101, 201, 382, like this we can give codings. And there is no necessity that each code will have a number relationship to it. Okay, they are related by way of a subjective matter, like the categories that we are making. So that's more descriptive things that we are making them arranged. So nominal data is a data which is not related in any way. It is not numbers that we are using. We are providing descriptions to it. Okay, now let's look at ordinal data.
measurement is ordinal. Examples of ordinal variables are rank, satisfaction, and fanciness. Ordinal variables have a meaningful order, but the intervals between the values in the scale may not be equal. For example, the gap between first and second runners in a race may be small, whereas there is a bigger gap between second and third. Similarly, there may be a big difference between satisfied and unsatisfied, but a smaller difference between unsatisfied and very unsatisfied. Like nominal data, ordinal data can be given as frequencies. Some people state that you should never calculate a mean or average for ordinal data. However, it is quite common practice, particularly in research regarding people's behaviour, to find mean values for ordinal data. You should be careful.
Okay, so let's have an understanding of ordinal data. What was ordinal data? Ordinal data is a data which is just like nominal data, but all the more that it can be presented in a more logical sequence. We can give numbering, we can give the sequence to it. However, the gap between the data is not necessary to be the same. Now let's have the understanding that, for example, we have newspapers, we have the surveys collected, that how much percentage of the people they like to eat veg food, how much percentage of the people they like non-veg food. What is that? Ordinal data. They have taken the data, taken the the calculations, taken out the averages. So we can calculate averages in ordinal data because they are arranged in a sequence. There's a particular rule attached to it. But nominal data doesn't have any rule attached to it. Let's take one more, look at one more video first.
Why study data types? Data. Different to select the data. In detail, we should first do for logistic regression. Hence, to understand the algorithms, different types of data, qualitative data and quantitative data. This also means be of things. We will be discussing coming video. Let's type group also low or black that data. For example, type.
So I'll just stop here. I'll tell you one point. So we can say that categorical data or descriptive data is more like a qualitative data. We're not quantifying it, but it's a non-financial data that we are using.
Qualitative data is also known as categorical data. For example, hair color, which could be red, yellow or black, or the country you were born in, or the size of the clothes you wear. Now that we know what the qualitative data is, let's see its types. Qualitative data can be further divided into two types: nominal data and ordinal data. First, we will talk about nominal data. To understand more about the nominal data, let's see its four distinct properties. First, it cannot be measured in the form of numbers. Example, you cannot measure your hair color numerically. Second, it has no rank or order. Example, you cannot say that a person with black hair is better than the person with red hair. Third, it is not equidistant. Example, you cannot compare a person with black hair to a person with red hair. Fourth, it doesn't have a meaningful zero. Example, you cannot say zero black hair because it makes no sense. Let us now see what mathematical operations can be performed on it. This type of data can only be grouped into categories. It does not have any rank. Hence, this type of data cannot be sorted. That is, even if you change the order of the data, the meaning will remain the same. You can only calculate frequencies, percentages, proportions, and central point with this type of data. No other mathematical operations like addition or multiplication are possible on this type of data. Example, nationality, gender, and hair color. As you can see that this type of data cannot be ranked or ordered. In the case of gender, we cannot say that females are greater than males or vice versa. Now moving on to the other type, which is the ordinal data.
About central point, there are some statistical issues here, statistical points that you don't need to consider. Central point is the model value. Okay, that we are going to cover in the other chapters. Okay, forthcoming there I'll explain you. It's the mode that we see.
To understand more about the ordinal data, let's see its 4 distinct properties. It cannot be measured in the form of numbers. Example, you cannot say medium in clothes size is size 1, large is size 2, and extra large is 3. Second, it has rank and order. Example, you can surely say that the size large is greater than the size medium. Third, it is not equidistant. Example, you cannot say that large minus medium equals to extra large minus large. This type of mathematical operation is not possible. Fourth, it doesn't have any meaningful zero. Example, there is nothing like size 0. Let us now see.
Only difference that is between ordinal and nominal data is, if we summarize, it is that ordinal data can be ranked, can have a sequence, but nominal data do not have a logical sequence and they cannot be ranked.
What mathematical operations can be performed on it. This type of data can be grouped into categories. Since this type of data follows some order and hence they can be sorted. You can sort this type by using basic comparison operators like greater than or lesser than. But note that there is no continuity in the relative distances between adjacent categories. You can also calculate frequencies, percentages, proportions, center point, and generate summary stats with this type of data. No other mathematical operations like addition or multiplication are possible on this type of data. Example, opinion, size of clothes, and grades. As you can see that this type of data can be ordered. In the size of the clothes, XL is always greater than large size, which in turn is greater than size medium. Hence, there is some hierarchy in this type of data. That's it for today's.
I hope now it makes you all very, very clear about what is a nominal and what is the ordinal data. And let me summarize it here. Okay, first, what is primary data? It is the data that you are collecting at the source, okay, and that you're collecting for a particular purpose. Once that purpose is over, the meaning of the data is also over. Secondary data is the data that you are not collecting at the first source, somebody else has collected, and you're using it for your purposes. Okay. Now, numerical data is a data which is expressed in the form of numbers. Numerical data is of two types, discrete and continuous. Discrete is the number that can be counted, with perfection, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and which is generally not going to change. Discrete, continuous data is a data which cannot be counted like this because it is capable of being increased or decreased, right? Then we come to the categorical data. Categorical data is a data which is qualitative data, which cannot be which is not expressed in numbers, okay, which is generally about like age, type, color of the country's flag, the gender and all, like we discussed. So it's more of a qualitative data. Now, categorical data can be divided into two, nominal or ordinal. Nominal data is a data which is again qualitative data only, but which cannot be arranged in a sequence. Like here we discussed male, female, the flags, the colors, of the hairs of the people. And even I can say that, we can take different examples also. The employees in the organization, suppose the employees in the finance team, I cannot arrange them in a sequence that he is number one, he is number two, he is number three, if they all are at the same levels. We cannot compare it like that. However, we can have ordinal data here where I can see the different hierarchies, like one is senior manager, one is the executive. So we can see that sequence, but we cannot say that your rank one, your rank two, your rank three. So at the employees at a particular position, if there are 15 employees who are executives, then they all are representing nominal data. However, the entire employees of the finance department can be segregated into the ordinal data, their ranking. Got it? So nominal data is a data which can be thought of as a name or a label, or which has no set order. Okay, you can count nominal data, but you cannot order or measure it like eye color. If you have 6 eye colors to be checked, I can count it as 6, but I cannot, rank them in any order. Ordinal data is a data which has a set order or a scale. For example, level of satisfaction, we give ratings collected on a scale of 1 to 10. So we give the ratings. Ratings are ordinal data. Okay, anybody having any queries till this point? Till understanding primary, secondary, numerical, discrete, continuous, categorical, nominal, ordinal. Any queries till this point? Please put up in the chat box. Clear? Absolutely crystal clear.
In statistics, there are
Last video that I'm playing is on population and sample data. Great, thank you.
some terms that frequently come up. Two of these are a sample and a population. In this video tutorial,
Okay, Priyanka, you are saying that it is quantitative as well as qualitative. See, the base data is qualitative, right? Base data. We're not talking about directly numbers that I cannot say, that I have 4 eye colors, I have 3 eye colors. Okay, we can count it. But the base data is qualitative, right? I'm talking about colors. Then I can count the colors that are there. But counting, suppose they are colors, I can count them. But can I say that I have 5 kg of color for a nominal data? No, right? I have flags with me. I can count the number of flags. But base is that it is an Indian flag, it is a US flag, it is a French flag, like this. So base is not numbers. Are you clear?
I'll explain what a sample and a population is in terms of statistics, and I'll give you an example of each. Let's say we are performing an experiment where we are interested in people who have a disease, and this disease is called disease X. It is estimated that over 1 million people in the world have disease X. The population in this case is every person in the world who has disease X. As scientists, it would be extremely hard to almost impossible to recruit every person in the world who had disease X. For example, some people may decline to be recruited in a study, and some people may be in a different country altogether to the study itself. So, what's the next best thing? Well, to get around this, we perform an experiment using a random selection of people with disease X. Say we recruited 50 people in the study with disease X. This group right here is known as a sample. The sample usually contains a smaller number of people compared with the population. So why do we do this? Well, as I've mentioned, it is difficult to recruit everyone with disease X. So the best approach scientists use is to recruit a randomly selected sample that is then used to make a general conclusion about the population. Let's say we measured the life expectancy of people with disease X in our sample. We calculated that people in our sample live on average 51 years. This measure, since it has come from the sample, is known as a statistic. And the mean symbol for a statistic is X bar, this example life expectancy parameter. And this measure, since it has come from disease X, and this average example for the whole population. But Let's imagine we know what the average life expectancy is for the population of disease X, and this is known as how that for this in bias. Sampling.
Okay, nice. I'll not take more video of it because the relevant portion we have covered. So what is a sample data? What is a population data? Suppose another example, we have right now, suppose 40 live students in the class right now, 40 to 50. Okay, now if I just take your opinion that I ask you a question, okay, and all 40 to 50 students of you 100% give me that answer. So now I can see from the entire questions, from the entire number of students, how many percentage of the students got it correct. Suppose I say that 90% of the students got this answer correct. Now this percentage I'm deriving from the entire population, 100% of the population. Okay, but on the same point, now suppose if I ask a question and only 10 of you give me an answer, and out of it 5 are correct, 5 are wrong. So I will just give you an idea that around 50% of the students gave me wrong. So based on the sample, I'm creating an opinion for the entire population. Generally, we do this sampling where the people say that, okay, whether you like the movie or not, they take a sample and then take an opinion. Okay, whether how was this particular services, you take a sample and give the opinion. So sampling is more easy because it takes a small section comparing to the entire population. Like we have those votings, like whenever the elections come in, they take a group of people and they ask your opinion that which party you will give vote to, because they cannot, it is not possible to always check the 100% of the population for the same. But we do have 100% population surveys also, like census surveys, where we take the count of every population, every person in that population count who's a citizen of the country. So like this, we have population surveys and sample surveys. Of course, population is more expensive. It takes more time. Sampling is more easy. However, there's a risk of sample, that a sample may not be representative of the entire population. If you've done a wrong sample size, then it will not represent the entire population. So that's a big risk that we can. Yeah, correct, Hansela, like the exit poll in the elections. That's a sample technique. Okay, so sample data is the data arising as a result of investigating a samples. Sample is a selection from the population. Population data is a data which is arising as a result of investigating the population. The population is the group of people or objects of the interest to the data collector. Now, for example, you all will be asked that, sometimes, suppose if you're asked that give a feedback about the faculty of the trainer. So you all 100% will be asked, not just a sample. Right? So that is a population when it is entirely covered. I hope I'm clear on it. Now, everyone quickly tell me, are we all absolutely clear about these different types of data? Primary, secondary, continuous, discrete, numerical, categorical, nominal, ordinal, as well as sample and population. I know you all need to revise, so do revise it. But till this point, any queries, please tell me in the chat box. Everyone, are you absolutely crystal clear? Anyone with slightest of query, you're not going back home. You're going to ask me question. I want my entire class to be absolutely crystal clear. That's great. Then you would be, okay, that's all. Then please cover activity 1 and we'll discuss the advantage and disadvantages. Okay. Just think of the key advantages and disadvantages. We'll discuss in the next class. Correct, Senthil, you're correct. Yeah, nominal and ordinal, again, I'm explaining Yogyata. Now, suppose Yogyata, I'm just taking, I'm discussing that in our class, what is the color of the hairs of all the students in the class? Okay, can I count the total, that how many have black hairs, how many have red hairs, how many have brown hairs? Can I count it, Yogyata? Quickly. Right? But can I say that red is number 1, black is number 2, like this? Can I do a ranking? No. The data that we had, was it a numerical data or a categorical data? Was it qualitative or quantitative? Categorical, Yogita? That was a qualitative data. I never said that how many of 5 kgs of hair, 1000 hairs, 2000 hairs. We cannot do that. right? So it was a categorical data or a descriptive data. Since it could not be ranked, it was a nominal data. Now the same data, if I can rank, it becomes an ordinal data. Let's take one more example for ranking. Okay, now if I say that I want to know the names of all the students. Now I make a list of all the students' name. I'm arranging them in alphabetical order. Now can I do that ranking? In arranging them in alphabetical order? It is still a qualitative data only. It is still a data which is descriptive. It is a categorical data. But now since I can arrange it in a sequence, arrange it in an order, it becomes an ordinal data. Am I clear? It becomes an ordinal data, Yuvraj, because now you can keep it in the sequence, right? You can give it in order. Okay, Yuvraj, are you clear now? I'm giving it in order, no? Who is roll number 1, roll number 2, roll number 3. So I'm giving it in order. Fine? Yeah, I hope now everybody is absolutely crystal clear. You have any doubts, any queries? We'll discuss in the next class. Study well, study hard. Correct. I'm not doing a ranking of who is better. I'm doing a ranking of the alphabetical name, the names in the alphabetical order for the roll numbers. So that is an ordinal data. Okay. Okay. Bye-bye, everyone. Good night. Take care. And see you all on Wednesday. Bye-bye.